All right, all right, all right, all right. How's everybody doing today? This is Bible study. It's going to be exciting, though. Just work with me. 30 minutes or less. Somebody say 30 minutes or less. That's why I opened up with that jam. That set the stage right there. So you're going to be a gangster. And I understand some young ladies might be watching, but hey, gangster has no gender. So here we go. We're coming out of Judges chapter 11, verse 1 and 2, and it says this. Now Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor, and he was the son of a harlot, and Gilead begot Jephthah. That means his mama was a tramp. The dude that I'm talking about today, his mama was a tramp. I'm making a statement. The reason that I'm letting you know his mama was a tramp, he was born into a set of circumstances he had no control over. There's circumstances that you were born into that you have no control over. And it goes on and says, and Gilead's wife bare him sons. In other words, his daddy was messing with a tramp and had him, and his name was Jephthah. But then his daddy had a wife, and she had some kids. And they thrust Jephthah out after they had grown old. They said, thou shalt not inherit in our father's house, for thou art the son of a strange woman. In other words, Jephthah's wife had children with him. When they got old enough, they said, say, man, your mama a tramp. You definitely not getting none of the cash from our daddy. So you need to get to stepping. I need you to understand something, though. Jephthah was a stud dude. The Bible says he was a stud dude because right there back in verse 1, it says this. And he was the son of a harlot. Okay, his circumstances, Jephthah was born into a set of circumstances he had no control over, and his mama was a tramp. But it also says this. He was a mighty man of valor. What that meant in that language, he was a bad, bad man. Now, we don't have the details written in this book about how he was a bad, bad man. But based upon the information on this board, we're going to come to realize why he was a bad, bad man. And so right there in verse 1 and 2, I tell you again, his mama was a tramp and his brothers kicked him out. What's your family situation like? Everybody like you? Everybody love you? Everybody support you? Everybody always doing what they say they're going to do? To the young ladies, are they there to let you know what's going on with your body? Are they there to let you know what's going on with men, with boys? I'm talking about your family members. What is your family situation? And it goes on in verse 3, and it says this. Then Jephthah fled from his brother. What that meant is when his brothers told him, you can't stay here no more, rather than fight his brothers, he went away. And you say, well, he was a straight up punk. He was a mark. He was scared. No, it wasn't, because watch what happened in verse 3. It says this. And there were gathered vain men to Jephthah and went out with him. In other words, in language that you can understand, real, recognize real. When your family don't want you, and you run to the streets, and the streets not only accept you, but they love you, real recognizes real. You didn't leave home because you were scared. You didn't leave every relationship in your family because you were scared. There were some things going on. There were some people doing some things. There's some stuff that you wanted that you couldn't have or didn't have action at doing. Sometimes, I'm going to tell you what I was scared of. I was scared of being poor. I was so scared of being poor when I was young. I went and got a paper route, turned one paper route into two paper routes, turned two paper routes into. I had the whole east side of a little small town in Illinois. And then I started paying people because I want to play football in the summer. So I started paying other little kids to deliver the papers. Now, they didn't deliver the papers like I delivered the papers. But what I'm letting you know, I'm not doing that because I'm trying to be a businessman. I'm doing that because I don't want to be poor. I want to have some candy. I want to have some hamburgers. And mama wasn't getting that for me every day. And so I'm letting you know, everybody that left home, everybody that left some different people in their lives. It wasn't because they were scared, but sometimes it's just, I'll take care of me. And so what happens, I remember when I was younger, there was a song and the song said something like this: babies are having babies. Yes, they are. What's the point? When people who are young and immature have children, all they can do is young and immature things. Parents, relatives, family, friends, people with good intentions, if they don't know what they're doing, we get the results of that. And when they decide to kick us out or leave us behind or give us up for adoption, I want to let you know, sometimes we don't fight back. We don't scream. We don't cry. We don't holler. We might feel some kind of way on the inside, but we just go right out to the people and the places that accept us. And they gonna accept us because just like Jephthah, the real recognized the real. When Jephthah went out to the streets, they understood. And it says they were vain men. In other words, these weren't high caliber dudes. These weren't cats that they had it going on. These were people who were low down. These people, they was cutthroat. These people, they had some stuff done to them. This Bible says they were vain men. That means they wasn't good for nothing, but they attracted to Jephthah. And when they attracted to Jephthah, he made them into something. Have you ever been attracted to some people who mean you no good, but they made you something? They made you have a reputation. They made you have a little respect. They made you have a little money. We're going to get to that. I want to ask you this question. The real do recognize the real. People recognize genuineness. People recognize talent. People can see your looks, your charisma, your style, your thinking ability, your fighting ability. And they want to use you because I asked you this question. Who likes you? Right now, we're going to actually take 10 seconds and I want you to think of all the people who do wrong that like you. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi. Now I want to ask you this question. Why do they like you? Who likes you and why do they like you? Because being straight up with you, when it comes to the streets, the only reason that I like people, I like women that look good. I like dudes that make me money. Who likes you? Why do they like you? Jephthah got ran out of his house. His mother was a tramp. His own brothers, his family, they didn't like him. His daddy didn't stick up for him. His mama didn't stick up for him. Aunts and uncles didn't accept him. He went to a faraway land, but he was a bad, bad man. There's some people who should have loved you, but they didn't like you. Whether it was because you were inconvenienced, whether it's because you couldn't learn things fast enough, whatever the reason, it still comes back to the same. They didn't like you. And then the people who accepted you in the streets. And when I say streets, I'm not just talking about the physical streets. People who accepted you doing wrong. People who not only helped you do wrong, but showed you how to do more wrong. Why did they really like, that's my boy. You my boy because you my flunky. I ain't no flunky, man. Man, I run something. So did Jephthah. But he still had a past. Oftentimes, the people who run the most in the streets, they past is the most reckless. I done met plenty of dudes running something. And they run it so hard, they run it so regular, they run it so well because they were molested and they wanted to make sure ain't nobody gonna get over on me no more. I met some women, they holding it down. They having some things because some things had them, some people had them, and they wanted to make darn sure it'll never happen again. When you run to the streets because the people who should love you don't, want you. The streets gonna recognize what you bring to the table. Let's get back to the word. Verses 7 and 8 says this. And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead, did not ye hate me and expel me out of my father's house? And why are ye come unto me now when ye are in distress? In other words, what happened? Jephthah is over here. He's growing up. He's the firstborn, daddy's boy. Then all of a sudden, his father's wife has some more kids, and they raised up, and they can't run like him. They can't fight like him. They can't think like him. And they get together and say, we don't want you. And mama didn't stick up for him. And daddy didn't stick up for him. And aunts and uncles didn't stick up for him. And so guess what he did? He went to the street. And when he went to the street, the real recognized the real. But you gotta know that ability, those looks, that charm, that charisma, that thinking ability, it came from God, and he gave it to you for a purpose. And even though your family and family members didn't recognize it, and the streets did, and they used it, and they using it right now, and they'll use you up. But God had a plan and a purpose. So in this story, way back over here, now remember, Jephthah's over here. He's having some things with the fellas, with the ladies. He's having some things because he's a bad, bad man. He can fight. Over here, they up here, yeah, we're going to get this from daddy, we're going to get that from daddy. And all of a sudden, all hell break loose because some enemies, this Old Testament, you know, like the movies. Some people came in and they hauled the land. They say, look, this yours, now it's mine. And the first thought, not of the family, but the first thought of the people who was running something, where's that boy Jephthah? That boy Jephthah, he know how to put it on there. That boy Jephthah, he knows how to get the job done. And so they say, he's over there in the street. So they go to the street. I'm talking about the leaders. Have you ever had family members that didn't like you, or other people that didn't like you, didn't want you, but when they needed something, they come find you? They didn't find you when you were disappointed. They didn't find you on your birthday. They didn't find you on Christmas. But when they need something, when they want something, they found you. And so when they pull up on Jephthah, they ask him this question. They say, hey, we want you to come running over here. And so Jephthah asks a question. And right here, I wrote a statement, but I want to say this question. He said, aren't you the same people who didn't want me, who put me out? Listen to what I'm going to tell you. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. Stop asking questions that no answer is good enough for. Let me paint that picture. There are women who you got pregnant, or a woman who you got pregnant, that they don't want anything, they didn't want anything to do with you at all. And you had good intentions, but I don't want to deal with you. I got another man. And you hurt, but you go away. And then you get a call one day and she says, I need you. He beat me. He left me. Your son, your daughter, they need you. And the first thing that comes to your mind, say, how you gonna need me when you told me you had a man? You told me you had it all together. And what I'm telling you, that question, what answer can she tell you that's good enough? What answer? He was cuter. He had more money. You beat me. You raped me. There is no answer that people who have deserted you, people who have left you, people who have mistreated you, people who have molested you, people who have turned their backs on you, when they come back and they need help, they cannot give you an answer that is reasonable enough to meet your need. Just think about it. The worst thing that anyone or a group has done to you, if you could ask them why, what answer would be good enough to free you, to heal you, to make you feel better. I sit up and do years with people and their family turn their backs on them. And they man, when I get out, they can't tell me nothing. And I tell them the same thing I'm telling you. You were born into that family for a reason. And even though they didn't do right by you, it's your time, it's your season to do right by them. What that means, every different detail, I can't tell you, but I can tell you, have a willingness to use what you've learned over here to help back here. Let's look at this again. Look how we do God. If you believe in God, look at how you're doing. Slanging, banging, sleeping around, disrespectful. And if you don't believe in God, look how you do yourself. I'm never gonna do that again, man. And find yourself right back doing it again. Oh man, I got another disease. I got crabs this time. You go against your own welfare. I'm making a point. Watch this. Look how we do God. But what? We need him. Watch what happened. I'm going to read this slow in verses 7 and 8. We're almost finished. And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead, did not ye hate me and expel me out of my father? I want to answer. I want to know why. If you just tell me why, I'll think about it. But I want to know why. And I'm telling you, when you get the answer to the why, it's still not going to be good enough. Stop asking. Stop asking. Either you're going to help or you're not going to help. And the people who went to Jephthah for help, they understood it, because I'm going to read it really slow and I want you to get this. Jephthah is asking them, they present themselves, we need you to come help us. And if you'll come help us, we'll make you the leader. And Jephthah begins by asking questions. Watch the response of the people he's asking the questions. Verse 8, and the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah, therefore we turn again to thee now, that thou mayest go with us and fight against the children of Ammon and be our head over all the inhabitants of Gilead. They even understood. It's nothing that we can tell you that's good enough for us turning our backs on you. Yes, anything could have happened to you. We're not even going to try to explain. All we're going to say, watch the conversation. Hey, what's up, man? I ain't seen you in a while. I just want to let you know, we want you to come back and be our leader. Here go Jephthah. What? Man, you out your mind. I remember when you left me. I remember you turned your back on me. Ain't nobody had nothing for me. These boys had something for me when I didn't have nothing. Why did you do that to me? And why my family treat me like that anyway? We need you to come help us. And if you'll help us, we'll make you a leader. That's the question that's facing you guys today. There's a word called gangster or gang. The definition of a gangster. A gang member. The definition of a gang. Group of young people. This is the definition. Involved in petty crime or violence. Young people who regularly associate. There's some gangsters. There's some gang members. There's some young people watching this video. And I'm telling you that because of your circumstances, you became this. And people are attracted to this. And people are applauding this. And this seems like the popular thing to do. But the stuff that's going on the inside that you're not talking about, the stuff that you really want that you're not talking about, that's not material, that's not banging into my ears, it's not being smoked, it's not being drank, the stuff that you really want over here, the stuff that you wanted that you didn't get, the love, the comfort, the support, the shoes, the Christmas presents, the birthday presents. Those days are gone. And if you can realize today that you don't do everything right, I don't do everything right. Matter of fact, we do a whole bunch of wrong against God every day, but we still turn to him because we need him. That's the same thing with these people. Your family members, people who close to you, who turned their backs on you, who mistreated you, who molested you, who did all of that. They still need you. And today, you've got to make a conscious decision to do what God has done for you. Be willing to help them. What that looks like, I don't have time to go into. But I'm telling you, you have the ability to help people who don't like you and don't care about you, because we treat God every day like we don't like him and we don't care about him, but we still need him. If you can understand that, and if you can just think about one time that God has done it for you, what God has done for you, what God has done for me, we can do for another. If you're a person, man, you ain't talking about nothing, that's fine. Keep living life the way you want to live it. And when you get desperate enough, when you get lonely enough, when you get beat down enough, or when you get old enough, you'll remember this. God bless you.